Hello and welcome to this first masterclass lesson from Learning Zone 2, which is on the performance assessment section of your LCPE course. In today's lesson, we're going to be looking at what it is, how one is completed, and then what you can do to prepare for your performance assessment so that you can get the best grade possible to help you get the highest qualification overall. So, in this, we're going to be looking at what performance is, when it's completed, the timeline of it, and things like that. You're then going to know how a performance assessment is carried out so that you know exactly what's coming up and how you're going to be assessed. And then by the end, you're going to know how you can actually prepare for your assessment so you can achieve the highest mark possible. So I'm going to kick things off with what it is. Well, the PA, or the performance assessment, is internally captured, and it's evidence of your best performance in a selected physical activity. Now, the performance assessment is worth 150 marks, which is 30% of your overall qualification. So your PAP, if you remember, is 20%. Your performance assessment, your practical element, is 30, leaving the remainder, 50%, over to the written examination. You can select one out of the 3 sports that you're choosing to run at your school, but you need to remember that it needs to be different in context and type to your PAP activity. So it needs to be delineated, which means it's from a different type of sport or category of sport. You can't do 2 invasion games, you can't do 2 net and wall games. You need to do 2 completely separate different types. Both of them need to be recognised in some shape or form by a national governing body or island sport. So how does it work? Well, you have the duration of your course to prepare for and capture your performance assessment, which is great for you because you've got extra time, well, not extra time, you've got loads of time to select your sport and then train and prepare to get better so that when your performance assessment does happen further down the line, you're going to be in a great position to score nice and highly and get as much of those 30% marks as you possibly can. Submissions are made through video form and they can last up to 8 minutes. So that's quite a long time that you've got to actually showcase your performance. But within that, you need to show isolated drills, condition practices, some form of competitive element if you want to achieve those higher grade boundaries. Submissions should be prepared and submitted between January and March in your final year of the course. So January and March, bearing in mind exams will start sort of in that May, June, July window. So this is leading up to that. Okay, so you don't want to be focused solely on this because you obviously want to be doing a lot more revision and preparation for that exam as well, which is a bigger weighting, 50%. But January and March is when submissions are going to start happening. So you need to start getting in your evidence, collating it, editing it together into that video that can last up to 8 minutes. Those submissions can also include slides with information. So if you're opting to do a certain skill, be it a core skill or a specific skill or a certain strategy that you want to showcase, then you can use up to 5 slides which you can overlay on the video, and you can talk through or quickly put a brief outline of what it is that you're about to show. So the assessor can then know what's coming up in the video and be looking out for some nuances of your performance in line with that piece of information that you just gave them. Now, in line with that, you need to be able to identify yourself in whatever video footage that you submit. So on that slide, you need your centre number, your candidate number, all of the school and exam information. But you can also highlight you in that video. So if you are playing in a team sport, what number are you wearing? What colour are you wearing? What colour hair? What colour boots? Okay, so you need to be able, or the assessor needs to be able to quickly look at that video and know exactly who you are and who they should be watching. Now, you can get specific instructions on the specification and exam documents, which if you click on that link there, I'll also post them into the portal elsewhere as well. But if you click on that link there from inside the PowerPoint, that will take you to a document which outlines everything that we do today in a little bit more detail. So what can you do to prepare? We know what it is, practical performance, 30%. We know when it is, January, March in your final year. And we know how you need to submit evidence, video format, 8 minutes long. What can you now do to prepare? Well, the performance assessment is designed to showcase your best performance in your selected physical activity. But you've got the duration of the whole course to apply the knowledge that you're gaining from your PAP and your written exam. So think about all of the work that you either have been doing or will be doing on principles of training, components of fitness, training types and methods, psychological preparedness, physiology. So you can now bring together all of this learned theory and apply it to better prepare you for your performance assessment. Your marks are going to be awarded for your overall performance, your skills and techniques, your tactical and strategical application, your knowledge and adherence to rules and regs, and demonstration of safe practice. So things like warm-ups and cool-downs. Do you know exactly what goes into them? Are you able to demonstrate or talk through how to complete an effective one for your activity? If not, well, that's what you can start to research and learn and practice. So you've got the entirety of the course to focus on upskilling yourself in these 5 areas. Not just your practical performance, not just your ability in a competitive situation, but also strategy. So can you, do a little bit of research and reading around your chosen activity to try something new, to learn about a tried and tested strategy that the elite players use that you could try and develop in your own game. Knowledge and adherence to the rules and regs. Could you fulfill the role of the referee throughout the year to give you a greater awareness of some of the more difficult rules to adhere to in your sport? And then obviously that skills and technique one there. Have you got knowledge of, and if you go into the LCPE specification in the performance assessment zone, you will look and see the list of skills that your sport needs to be demonstrating or what you're going to be assessed in. So take those out, apply your understanding of training programming and build a 3, 4, 5 week session plan around developing each of those skills. Now, there's work within this zone on training programming. So when you do get to that, really unpack it. Take a year-long approach to upskilling yourself so that you can perform as best as you can on that, in that assessment window when you're capturing all of that evidence. So what next? You know what it is, you know how one is completed, and you know how you can be preparing for it. So you've got remaining lessons in this section of Learning Zone 2, where you need to, first of all, identify your physical activity. So what are you going to be completing your performance assessment in? Take some time to analyse your own personal strengths and weaknesses, where you can improve, in line with the skills and techniques that a good sports performer in your chosen activity has. So look at the best. Go and observe and watch the best in your activity. Take note of what they do differently to what you do. How can you be more like them? And then preparing for proficiency. Once you've identified where your areas for improvement are, where the gaps are between your level of learning, think about Fitz and Posner's cognitive, associative, autonomous. If you're in the associative stage of learning in your activity, what can you do, which is more like the elite performer, to get you into this autonomous stage? Well, it's probably going to be linked to a training program. So a massive part of this is to take this on as a bit of a project. Developing yourself throughout the course, look at the training program tutorial within this learning zone, and design yourself the weekly sessions, monthly sessions, so that you can tackle big performance goals that you want to improve that will get you to a position of succeeding in your performance assessment at the end of your course. Which is it. So a very short and quick one today, but I hope that was beneficial. I hope you now know what the performance assessment entails, how it needs to be completed or submitted, and also what you can be doing between now and your performance assessment so that you can achieve the highest mark as you possibly can. So I hope that helped, and carry on through this learning zone onto the next PowerPoints and sessions, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye for now.